Welcome to another episode of Savage Cash. Here with me, Supoman, your superhero cryptocurrency expert. In today's video, I'm going to bring you something awesome. I am going to bring you the top 5 cryptocurrency gainers in the next year. So I'm going to be looking at the prices that I anticipate the top 5 cryptocurrency, long-term cryptocurrencies to achieve in August 2018. Why? Because I was looking at CoinMarketCap today. If you're anything like me, you go on here pretty much every day. Now, I don't know if you know, but there is a tool on CoinMarketCap that allows you to have a look at how cryptocurrencies were performing at different points in time historically. Okay, so you can go right back to April 2013 and have a look and see what the prices of cryptocurrencies were at that time. But today is the 16th of August, and I thought it'd be a good idea to bring you a video looking firstly, before we have a look at how things are going to do in the future, I wanted to look at the past. Look at how the top cryptocurrencies have performed in the last kind of 2 years from today. And from this, we'll be able to have a look and see how much they've gained and what the future is looking like for the cryptocurrencies of today. Because the cryptocurrencies of today, for instance, NEO, wasn't even around at this time. So look at this. Okay, so Bitcoin today is worth over 4,100. Ethereum is worth over $300. And look at the prices 2 years ago today. Okay, you got Bitcoin, you got Ripple, you got Litecoin, you got Ethereum, you got Dash. These were the top 5 back then. Okay, now you can have a look and you can see how cryptocurrencies have performed over the last 2 years going on this screen. Okay, you can have a look and you can see how, LXT, Monero, Bitcoin Plus, for instance, how that's performed. So if I just show you quickly Bitcoin Plus, okay, Bitcoin Plus at this point was 14 cents. Okay, now Bitcoin Plus, now if we have a look and see what Bitcoin Plus is, Bitcoin Plus actually went to over $200 over the last 2 years. It's since gone down to $78, but it did spike up to over $200. Okay, so if we have a look back here, if you had have put $1,000 into Bitcoin Plus, that would have gone up about 1,500 times since then. That's insane. So basically, if you'd have put $1,000, that would now be worth over $1 million. What, 1.5 million or something? That is just ridiculous money. Now, the reason why I'm bringing you the major cryptocurrencies is literally because even today, people are saying you should buy Bitcoin, you should buy Ethereum, you should put your money or your savings into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I like to invest in cryptocurrencies where my money goes a long way. If you've been watching my videos, you will know that I love cryptocurrencies that give me 10 to 100 to hopefully in the long term 1,000 times gain. So basically 1,000 times multiplier on my investment. So if I put 1,000 in, 50 times gain would be 50,000, 100 times would be 100,000, and 1,000 times would be 1,000,000. Okay, now that doesn't get achieved all the time. That does get achieved with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Plus that went from 7 cents to over $200, over a 2,000 times gain. Ridiculous. But it does happen if you select the right coin and you anticipate the movement of the coin well. But I don't, and if you know me again, you will know that I'm not a massive fan of investing in Bitcoin, investing in Ethereum. I use Bitcoin and Ethereum to invest in other coins. Okay, I buy them so I can buy other coins. I don't put my money in them to vest my money to make sure that I get good gains, because I know I really won't, because there's not much volatility in the price. It's true that in terms of, if you put some money in it, the volatility isn't so rough. The risk, therefore, is slightly mitigated. You're not going to lose an extraordinary amount. You may lose a bit, but it just tends to keep on growing. So that's why I'm not a fan of those cryptocurrencies where other people probably are. So anyway, let's have a look and see how these top 5 cryptocurrencies have done over the last 2 years. So in at number 5, we have got Litecoin. Now, Litecoin in August 2015 would have cost you $3.94. So if you put $1,000 into Litecoin, it then became $43 as of today, and you would have made an 11 times gain. Okay, so $1,000 would now be $11,000. Now, does that make you happy? In the cryptocurrency that I have been, invested in over the last month, that has already made me twice what this would have made me in 2 years, and this is one of the major coins. Number 4 is a massive surprise. So Bitcoin, the number one, the major cryptocurrency, the one everybody always raves about. Bitcoin, back then, the T stands for then, the N stands for now, and the G stands for gain. Bitcoin back then was $260. It's since gone up to over $4,100. Yet, given that massive, massive gain, it's only a 15 times gain. So if you'd have put $1,000 into Bitcoin and just left it, and then returned to it today, you'd have made $15,000. Okay, now, does that strike you as being particularly amazing? Now, Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin has got the biggest potential to rise into the 5 figures, okay? Bitcoin has the biggest potential of being adopted as a payment method across websites and services on the internet, and even in retail. Therefore, yes, it is the major one. It is the one probably that's the king of them all, but the gains on it aren't amazing. They haven't certainly been amazing in the last 2 years. 15 times gain. Again, not super, but it's pretty good if you wanted to have your money invested in a relatively safe cryptocurrency. Number 3 is Ripple. Now, back 2 years ago, Ripple was worth 0.008 of a dollar. Okay, and today it is worth 16 cents. Now that sounds like a mega difference, yet it's only a 20 times gain. Now, during the time in between then and now, Ripple did fall, and then Ripple did rise significantly above 16 cents, thus making people a hell of a lot more than a 20 times gain recently. Having said that, 20 times gain, I mean, it's pretty decent, but over the course of 2 years, you'd expect a little bit more again, wouldn't you? Now we're entering into the powerhouse gains. So in at number 2, we have Ethereum. Now, Ethereum was back then $1.38. Okay, so if you'd have invested $1,000 into Ethereum, you would have bought tons of Ethereum. You'd have bought nearly 100 Ethereum. Okay, and you'd have made 76 times gain. So $1,000 would have turned into $76,000. Now that is amazing. I do like that gain. That gain is pretty incredible. So Ethereum over the last 2 years was certainly worth investing in. Now we have got some cryptocurrencies that are snapping at the heels of Ethereum. We've got Neo and EOS. These are going to stop Ethereum growing in such an incredible way, because these are going to grow in an incredible way. At number 1, we have Dash. Good old Dash. Okay, so Dash back in August 2015 was $2.94. Don't you wish you had invested in Dash back then? It is now worth $225. Okay, it nearly got up to $300. Okay, so 77 times gain. That is insane. Okay, so if you'd have put $1,000 into Dash back then, you would have now made $77,000. And back then, a Dash Masternode was only $2,940. That's amazing, isn't it? So if you had if you have bought 1,000 Dashes back then, only cost $2,940. Compared now to $225,000 to have a Masternode. So you would have bought a Masternode in cheap, made a load of passive income over the years, and especially now be making a lot of passive income. So that is the performance of the main cryptocurrencies the last 2 years. What we're going to look at now is the awesome part. This is the part where we're having a look. Well, I am certainly going to put my neck out and predict the prices of cryptocurrencies in the next year. Okay, and it's not going to include any of these. Okay, so let's move on to what I think will be the top 5 gainers in August 2018. Now, I think there will be a lot more gainers if you have a think about it. If you invest in something like gas, for instance, if you invested in something like that at 1 cent, now you would be laughing. So it all depends, obviously, on where you invest and how much it's worth in the future that dictates what the gain is, okay? But what I'm going to look at is where certain cryptocurrencies are right now and where they will be in August. So some of them are already relatively high in value. If you'd have bought them a year ago, obviously the gain would be a hell of a lot more, and the gain for you might be a hell of a lot more. But we're going to look at the price today versus what the price will be in exactly a year's time. So in at number 5, I've got Steem. Now, Steem, I think, should be way more than $10 in August 2018. Way more. Let's face it, over the last few months, more people have gone onto Steem to blog. Okay, if you want to look at any cryptocurrency that's coming out right now, let's say you want to do some research on an ICO, okay, you would type in that ICO name onto Steem and there would be about 5 articles about it where people are saying, how do you participate in a ICO? Why is it worth this much? This is the team, blah, blah, blah. So basically, last few months, Steem has really picked up steam, I suppose. And I believe this should be worth a hell of a lot more than $10 in a year's time. What stands in the way of Steem is the supply. That has always been in Steem's way, and I think continues to be in Steem's way, because that got up to $2.74 before market crashed, and it could have gone up a lot more. It kind of ruined the momentum and has brought Steem crashing back down to $1.10, and all these other cryptocurrencies have come out and they're exciting, and so Steem stays relatively unnoticed. However, over the course of the year, I imagine there will be a 10 times gain. It'll probably be a bit less because it's obviously $1.10 to $10, but I think there will be roughly 10 times gain with Steem as it gathers more and more bloggers. There are more and more people investing in Steem. There's more and more monetization of blogs. It's going to get more and more interesting, and there's going to be also more YouTubers moving over to Steem, which means they'll be promoting it, they'll be talking about it, creating Steem profiles, getting people to go on Steem to follow them, etc., etc. And it's going to just continue this snowball of growth for Steem and therefore create more value. But like I said, the supply is what stands in the way of Steem and has done for the last year. Because if you look at a year ago, Steem was in the top 5 cryptocurrencies and was worth more than it is now. But it presents a really good opportunity to get into Steem. Number 4 is LBRY. Okay, so LBRY is going to be that platform for content creators where they can put their content on and charge what they want without any control. All right, now the beta version has been released. They've been giving out free LBRY credits for people who have signed up. And, you know, over the course of the year, I imagine that this is going to pick up a lot more traction. Okay, now it's at 36 cents at the moment. That's virtually nothing. Okay, when I was looking at, LBRY at its lowest about this time last month, around the 15th, 16th of July, it was 23 cents. I would have expected it by now to have gone up way more, but it's still 36 cents. And I think that the reason why is obviously Bitcoin and a lot of these ICOs coming out, and the ones that have come out over the last couple of months are still much more exciting than looking at the old ones. And people have started to come away from Poloniex when they've heard these rumors, about Poloniex not necessarily being a great exchange to be on right now. They're taking their money away, and LBRY is one of the featured coins on Poloniex. So the fact that people aren't going on Poloniex that much anymore is making people ignore LBRY a bit more. All right, so LBRY had got up to 92, 94 cents, in June. And so there's so much further for this coin to go. And I think that in a year's time, this could easily go to 4 cents, which would be an 11 times gain. So if you put $1,000 into LBRY right now, you could be looking at $11,000 in a year's time. Number 3, we have Ethereum on steroids, EOS. Okay, now EOS, when it came out, when it went onto the exchanges, it had an incredible introduction. It soared up to nearly $6. Okay, now I bought, a ton of EOS at ICO stage for 40 cents. Now, I didn't know how much I was actually getting because it all relied on who was investing in the same blockchain, blah, blah, blah. It was all very confusing. But when I calculated it, it turns out I got it for 40 cents an EOS. Okay, and it went up to $6 nearly. Okay, and that just gives you an indication of what it can achieve. Now, a lot of what has stood in EOS's way is the ICO implementation, but in a year's time, that will be gone. Okay, and I imagine that EOS over that time will just start picking up real traction. You know, as what at the end of the day, what EOS stands for is almost instantaneous transactions. You know, millions of transactions. You know, in seconds, and because Neo has grown up so tremendously over the last month, because it has really gained traction for doing essentially the same thing. I see the same kind of future for EOS. I think EOS is going to really blow up. Okay, and at the moment it's an absolute steal at $1.60. I can't believe it's still at this price. I thought it was going to be around about the 160 mark last month for maybe a week, and then I thought it would go up, maybe come down a bit for the SegWit, and go right back up, but it hasn't. So EOS, there's still such an amazing opportunity to invest in EOS. So EOS I definitely see as gaining a lot of traction, and $25 is what I'm putting on the value of it. We've seen how Neo has grown to 40 something dollars, okay, in just the last month, and I see EOS gathering similar traction over the course of the year. Maybe not as quickly or as rapidly, but I do see a 15 times gain over the next year. Okay, so $1,000 could become $15,000. Now we come to the Power 2. At number 2, we have Civic. Now, Civic aims to be something quite spectacular in the whole personal information sector. Okay, so it's all about privacy and keeping your privacy. And Civic has so much potential. I got Civic at 10 cents at ICO, and it has blown up to 60 cents. And I see this going up way higher very quickly as well. Okay, I think once we get out of this stage of Bitcoin sucking out the value of all these altcoins, Civic is going to really start to gather speed. It's going to be up to $1 in absolutely no time. And I see this going up to $15 over the course of the year. That was one of the reasons why I invested in Civic and in EOS, actually, as kind of two of the standout ICOs of the last couple of months. Okay, so I definitely see something quite spectacular. 25 times gain is what I am putting on Civic. I think that this is going to, because they are pretty much they're pretty much unique in what they are doing. Okay, they're pretty much unique, and it's a pretty spectacular system. If you haven't looked into Civic, have a look into Civic, and more importantly, have a look at who's behind Civic. You'll thank me later. So Civic I see as having quite spectacular gains over the next year. And what's at number 1? What is at number 1? Well, I'd be being boring if I told you. Okay, so I am going to put that as a question mark, because the answer to that is in my number 1 long-term cryptocurrency opportunity of 2017. That is this. That is this. Okay, now at ICO you could have got this for under 10 cents per token. Okay, now it's gone up to over $1. It's gone down slightly, and it's now at 80 cents. Okay, now this is going to be a powerhouse coin, a powerhouse platform. The team behind it has just been updated, and it's going to be a real powerhouse team. Okay, so I see this going from, and I've been very clear about this with my mastermind group, which you would get free access to on joining the course, but basically I see this being a 50 times gainer on its current price. Okay, now I'm putting $40 as next year's value, and I believe that it's certainly going to be that, if not this time next year, then not too long after that, because they've got a number of milestones. It's a very early stage cryptocurrency, but knowing what's on that roadmap makes me know that this is going to be up around 40 or thereabouts. Okay, could be even more. It's had rapid acceleration in just the last kind of week. Okay, it's had rapid acceleration in just the last week, and I see this continuing, especially as the community grows, and especially as the community gets behind it, because of the pain that it solves in the game. So I therefore see a lot of people getting invested in it, getting excited and passionate about it, and the value of it really going up to about Neo size. Okay, I definitely see this because you really know what this cryptocurrency is about. I mean, I went through the top 5 ICOs yesterday, and to be honest, if you look at their white papers, if you look at their websites, you know, they all use the same language that you really have to look to know what they are actually trying to achieve. With this cryptocurrency, it's so clear. It's so clear. You go on the white paper, you just know instantly that this is going to be spectacular once if they implement it how they want to. Okay, implementation is key to this being successful. If it is implemented, this is going to be the standout cryptocurrency of the year and next year. So I see this as being a 50 times gain. So if you want to know what that cryptocurrency is, all you need to do is literally just sign up for this course. $10. $10. It says 19 here. It's normally $200. $10. Okay, and that's all you need to pay. You'll get access to my mastermind group, access to the community, and access to my Telegram group, and you will be able to invest in this cryptocurrency whilst it's at the price I literally just showed you. Okay, so I see this being the number one cryptocurrency opportunity over the next year. I see this being the number one gainer. Okay, I see this as being huge in the future, and I definitely see this being a 3-figure coin simply based on what the platform is looking to achieve. And if they implement it, my goodness, is this going to be massive. So I hope that you enjoyed this cryptocurrency podcast. I hope that it has given you basically the incentive, I suppose, to invest in some long-term cryptocurrencies, to have a look back historically, see how cryptocurrencies have moved over the last 2 years, and inspired you, I suppose, to compile your own list, your own top 5 list of what you think will be the best gaining coins. There are quite a few really good ones right now, and that is worth you spending the time to invest in. Where do you think it's going to go? Now, in my cryptocurrency community, I asked them the question, what do you think are going to be the best gainers over the coming year? And they've all given their suggestions. They've all told me what they think is going to be the biggest gainer, and people have just been voting on it. It's a poll, basically, and people have been voting. So you can get that information. It's a little bit like Red Pulse. I've gathered the information. It's a little bit also like Enigma, because you can use this to make good investment strategies and decisions. So I hope that you enjoyed this Savage Cash episode, and I will see you in the next one.